Hello Zen, my name is RemovableSanity, and today I'm reviewing Entropy Survivors for the Series X, developed by Moving Pieces Interactive and published by First Break Labs. So what is Entropy Survivors? Entropy Survivors is a isometric bullet hell roguelike where you simultaneously control a powerful mech and a sharpshooting space frog. The premise is you take on the role of two beings at once, trying to make your way through hordes of enemies before a final boss, so you can move to the next level. The game boasts weapon upgrade systems, a varied mech upgrade systems, challenges, creative abilities, and the option to play solo or 2 to 4 player with online co-op. First up is accessibility. With regards to accessibility, the developers have added in their own tab: zoom functions, damage camera shake, enemy contrast, auto fire, button remapping, and subtitle options. There's a great selection of options which caters to most people with accessibility issues, which is great to see. Next is gameplay. There is no doubt that since the introduction of Vampire Survivor, the genre has been flooded with clones and Survivor likes trying to capture that feel and enjoyability of the original. To stand out from the crowd, you will need to innovate pretty well to ensure a good chance of players' interest. So what makes Entropy Survivors different? Well, for instance, you control two things at once. A frog riding on top of a mecha where both of them will be attacking the enemy. The frog will be your ranged combat, using a variety of guns to shoot from up high, whilst the melee combat uses a variety of hand-based weapons, will be solely done by your mecha unit. Just like most Survivor-like games, the formula sticks to the basics of surviving wave after wave of more enemies than you expected. New variation and mini-bosses coming at you at every minute as you level up, collecting the experience from their fallen corpses. During these battles, you will also be picking up randomized power-ups, which aim to make each battle unique and engaging. Power-ups range split between mecha versions and frog versions, with each providing some unique abilities that are a joy to combine when you use that particular attack. My favourite was the hacking tool for the frog, which turns enemies into allies, combined with solar pulses for pushing away hordes from the mech. After a number of levels facing more and more enemies, it all accumulates with a big boss at the end for you to defeat, before moving back into the hub world and choosing another level to do the same thing again. As mentioned previously, the combat is the main switch up here. The left and right sticks control your movement and where you aim, with your left trigger being the robot's melee attack, to keep away hordes close by. Pressing the right trigger slows down your movement, meaning hordes can close in, but allows your frog to fire the ranged weapons using the crosshairs. This balance of close quarter attacks and range ones works superbly, and one I enjoyed being creative with. After any battle, you're brought back to your hub world, whereas here you use all that experience, collectibles and money to truly make your playstyle your own. Of course, the spice of life is variety, and it's here the developers have really let loose. There is a number of different mech types that have their own unique class ability. From the army type, which lets loose a slow moving tank, to a samurai that unleashes a fog of war on the battlefield, to a jet mecha that allows speedy ramming whilst being invulnerable. Each mecha can also be upgraded to their full potential, allowing for even more powerful class attacks. The different mechs are unlocked by completing a variety of challenges, from using a specific weapon or killing a number of enemies with a particular power-up, pushing you to unlock as many as possible with each run. This is then replicated with all the guns and melee weapons in terms of unlocking, but also their own plethora of specific upgrades to choose from. You do this by using specific collectibles found on the battlefield. But wait, there's more, as not only do these exist, but there's a huge skill tree to use which upgrades all elements regardless of choice. These range from more health, quicker reloads, and longer class abilities, higher crit chances, and experience pickup areas increased, etc., making your characters truly powerful. Again, that's not all. Remember the power-ups earlier? Well, you can also upgrade those, from better percentage chances to appear, to buffing those particular power-up stats like damage and time of use. It may seem to be quite complicated, but after a few matches you'll soon be upgrading everything in a bid to become more powerful, survive the wave and move on to the next one. There are 5 worlds, each with about 5 levels to complete before you can complete the game. Now, if you are playing solo, this will mean working your way through the game sequentially. However, thanks to the online co-op feature, you can jump into any player's game regardless of level. Why is this good? Well, let's say they are on World 3, Level 3, and you are on World 2, you can still help them out, and if you both complete it, not only do you gain experience, but you also get the level completed in your own world, thus making the progression a truly unique experience to yourself, and encouraging you to allow others to join in on your own game. While solo is fun as hell, co-op is where it's at, as seeing the combination of 2 to 4 different mechs class abilities and different power-up choices play out on the battlefield is just a joy to watch. I actually enjoyed jumping into randoms games, as we all work together to survive and kill the boss at the end. What's a nice little touch is, should you complete an end level boss, that doesn't fully complete the level. The cheeky devs have put in a PvP element right after said big boss to see who truly is king of the battlefield. This fun mechanic doesn't take anything from the other players, it's just more of a boasting right. Fun here is off the charts, and I can't help myself returning for another wave of enemies just to see how far I get, as you're always progressing regardless of failure. Next up is graphics. Visually, the game looks crisp and bright and packs a true eye-watering punch when multiple abilities, enemy fire and environmental effects all kick off at the same time. I thought there might be some huge slowdown when this would happen, but to my surprise it was smooth as butter regardless of the number of effects happening on screen all at once. Customization seems to be the heart of this game, and whilst there is only 8 mech classes to unlock, there is well over 40 skin variations to unlock to make those 8 mechs unique to you and you alone, which is greatly appreciated when playing with others of the same type of mech. Being isometric, some games fall into having the camera too far away, but no issue here, as you can choose to zoom in by percentage to allow you to really see what's going on. The UI is also really easy to see and gives a clear indication of what ability is recharging at any given moment, which is a godsend in the more hectic of battles. Bright arrows showcasing off areas of interest or chests to grab hold of are easily distinguishable. Combining this alongside bright neon collectibles like sword for your melee weapons and gun for your ranged ones popping up. The environment isn't static either, with nodes randomly appearing around for you to stand over to activate, which in turn will unleash a mini boss for you to defeat and claim a nice juicy power up choice. Whilst the hub itself is a purple techno world, the other planets' levels on offer range well enough to keep things truly fresh, from jungles, lava pits, canyons and marshes, all visually different and equally challenging to navigate. Within these biomes are specific environmental power-ups that modify the landscape, like turning the land into one giant pinball machine, or allowing you to roll up enemies into one huge ball. Weapon designs is also nice and varied, with a collection of shotgun, minigun, flamer, not including the spear, shield, boxing gloves of the melee set to choose from. Power-ups are truly unique in their visual range, as you can pick up garbage trucks, anomaly warps, bowling balls and drones, all pumping out some superb visual effects. This would all be for nothing though if the enemy design and their attacking patterns are not equally well done. Well, again, developers have outdone themselves with a huge range of enemy variations based on their environmental stage, from a combination of bugs, mech-like drones, to huge hands, living rocks and samurai. Each keeps the game's levels interesting and challenging, which in turn pushes you into returning again and again to ensure victory. Overall, frame rate and stability was superb in all of my gameplay, and I saw no tearing or odd visual pop-ins. The only thing I would say is prepare your eyes when the battles get truly hectic when playing with others, as each mech's abilities compete to visually upstage each other. Finally, its sound. The game is not voiced and prefers to use subtitles to provide context and move the story forward, which for this genre is perfectly suitable. Music-wise, the game prefers to utilise a background combination of musical instruments, from bells to flutes to electric synth music, to engage the player and ramp the tension when required. This is there to elevate the fighting, but not overshadow the bulk of the sound, which is the game's general sound effects. And because the focus is solely based around the game's sound effects, the developers have gone all out to ensure everything is turned up to 11. From the variety of weapons and gadgets, scuttling of enemies across the battlefield, everything here has a meaty weightiness to it to ensure the player's senses are excited. When it does come down to battling the enemies, bullets and firepower boom through the speakers, whilst area effect power-ups tear up the battlefields in an explosion of sound bites. The UI sounds are also equally impressive with their higher crisp tones, ensuring that at any point regardless of the battle, you will always be aware of collecting a power-up. My recommendation here would be a good quality soundbar to really blast out the death and carnage you are going to inflict. And this leads me on to the rating of the game. Now, I rate games in order of avoid, on sale, great purchase and must own. My rating for Entropy Survivors is a must buy. The price and fun factor alone of this game truly puts it on my must buy category. And that's not even taking into account the huge amount of customization, co-op engagement and visual aesthetics that make this a pleasure to play time after time again. The game is currently priced on Xbox at £8.39, or approximately $10, and depending on your skill and patience would give you well over 20 plus hours worth of gameplay. Once the story is complete, however, there is still a huge amount of replayability with challenges, skins, buffs and upgrades, not to mention co-op that's more than going to keep you going. Entropy Survivors is such a fun game that I can't stop myself wanting to try another match in order to buff myself further or upgrade a particular weapon. For me at least, this has knocked off Vampire Survivors off the top spot and is now my Survivors game of choice. Easy to get into and engaging to play, fingers crossed they add DLC to keep me from straying. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I do hope you like this review, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe if you so wish. And if you would like to put some notes or even just a comment in the comment section, I do like reading them. Anyway, have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all again soon.